Hey everyone, welcome. On this channel, we're going to get into an advanced look at the story Disastrous Necromancer. Come with me as we unravel the journey of Lin Moyu, from his beginnings to him becoming a force to be reckoned with in a mysterious new world. If this story sounds like something you'll enjoy, please like, share, and comment. Your support helps us keep providing these in-depth looks into the world of Disastrous Necromancer. Now let's continue.
Lin Moyu was stunned on the spot. The golden sword was the sword of a supreme-level powerhouse from the Black Blood Great World. Although its exact grade was unclear, its sturdiness was beyond doubt. After being tempered for millions of years, it remained sharp, comparable to the treasures of Saint Venerables. With the addition of the heavenly Saint Venerable's golden rule, its sturdiness should be even higher. But now, this small, inconspicuous transparent box had actually caused a notch in the golden sword. What on earth is this thing? Lin Moyu was very shocked. He couldn't imagine the form of the box's existence. His hand couldn't touch it, and the purple gold body blocked the box's sharpness. If he forcibly touched it, his hand would definitely be cut to pieces. Using the golden sword to slash it, the box was fine, but the golden sword got a notch. Lin Moyu felt it was tricky and strange. No wonder the ice demon couldn't handle it. Even he found it troublesome, so a mere ice demon wouldn't be able to do anything even if given a few thousand years. Lin Moyu stood still, staring at the box, deep in thought. There must be a way to open the box. Soft methods don't work, hard methods don't work either. Soul communication doesn't work, physical attacks don't work. After thinking it over, he couldn't come up with a good solution and could only try bit by bit. The soul arrow appeared above his head, and a purple soul arrow condensed. He wanted to see if a soul attack would work. But just as the purple soul arrow was about to shoot out, Lin Moyu retracted it, and the purple soul arrow dissipated. He handed the soul bow to the skeleton general. "Brother, I'm counting on you." He silently entrusted this great task to the skeleton general. The skeleton general followed orders, injecting soul power into the soul bow, and recondensed the soul arrow. However, the skeleton general was clearly not a good match for the soul bow, and the condensed soul arrow looked very weak. The soul arrow shot into the void and directly hit the transparent box. The transparent box immediately emitted a strong light, and a more powerful soul arrow shot back. The golden armor talisman appeared, and the skeleton general donned a layer of golden armor, looking majestic. But it only lasted 0.1 seconds before the soul arrow arrived, and the golden armor shattered with a bang. The poor skeleton general died on the spot. Fortunately, with the Undying Undead spell, the just deceased skeleton general revived in the next second. Lin Moyu sighed, "I'm sorry, brother." The transparent box was as he had thought, reflecting all attacks, including soul attacks. Moreover, the reflected attack was several times stronger than the original. If he had shot the arrow himself, he might have died once. To be safe, he let the skeleton general try it first. The result was as expected, and the skeleton general died. It seems hard methods really don't work. Let's try again. Lin Moyu didn't give up. He had already thought of multiple methods, and if one didn't work, he would try another. With a point of his finger, the skeleton hell appeared. The skeleton hell enveloped the transparent box, and hellfire burned fiercely, swallowing the transparent box. Hell fiends surged out, opening their mouths to reveal fangs, gnawing at the transparent box. The transparent box remained unscathed under the hellfire, and the hell fiends' teeth broke, turning to dust from the recoil. The skeleton hell failed, having no effect. Lin Moyu wasn't disappointed. If the skeleton hell didn't work, he would try something else. The Lost Star River appeared at his feet, then poured onto the transparent box like a waterfall. The Lost Star River turned from gray-white to gray, and the power of death, which could corrode everything, fell on the box. The transparent box immediately emitted mist and made a sizzling sound. It works. Lin Moyu could clearly feel the undying law corroding it. He finally found a way to deal with the transparent box, but gradually, the joy in his eyes disappeared. The power of death could indeed corrode the box, but the speed was very slow, extremely slow. Moreover, Lin Moyu discovered that the transparent box could self-repair. The tiny bit that was just corroded was restored in an instant. At this rate, even 1,000 years wouldn't be enough to corrode it completely. What on earth is this thing? Lin Moyu gritted his teeth and made up his mind, pointing his finger at the box. White star level spell, Time Curse. A flash of red light, and a red arrow appeared on the box. Time suddenly accelerated, and the power of the curse fully erupted. Lin Moyu let out a painful groan as his soul suffered massive damage in an instant, severely injured. It can even reflect the power of the curse. Lin Moyu was truly at his wit's end. The transparent box was impervious to both soft and hard methods. Once again, he found himself staring at the box, unsure of what to do. He had tried everything, but nothing worked. He didn't know what to do next. Looking at the gem inside the transparent box, Lin Moyu felt a sense of helplessness. After thinking for a long time, a sudden flash of inspiration hit him, and he slapped his forehead. I am so stupid. In the next second, the scourge staff appeared in his hand. Looking at the scourge staff, Lin Moyu laughed at himself for being so foolish. He had thought of all sorts of methods but hadn't considered this. The scourge staff was the hardest of all his treasures. Although it wasn't a soul treasure, it could be used both inside and outside the soul. If even this doesn't work, then there's really no way. Lin Moyu raised the scourge staff, and the purple gold body shone brightly. The scourge staff was special, no one but him could hold it. To anyone else, the scourge staff was like a non-existent object. Gripping the scourge staff tightly, he smashed it down. With a loud bang, there was no rebound force, and no counterattack. The transparent box cracked, then shattered with a bang. The transparent fragments exploded, turning into smoke and dissipating in the space, leaving no trace. Seeing the transparent box shatter so easily, Lin Moyu was speechless. He felt incredibly foolish, a problem that could be solved so simply, and he had gone around in circles. Am I getting old and not thinking clearly? Lin Moyu mocked himself again and reached for the gem. The moment he grasped the gem, it emitted a myriad of colors, as if a treasure that had slept for countless years had awakened. A terrifying light burst from the gem, containing all imaginable colors. All the colors in the world intertwined at this moment. Lin Moyu felt an unprecedented elemental storm and sensed countless laws roaring. The light from the elemental gem pierced through the star, causing it to explode. In the pitch-black outer space, a light brighter than a star appeared. The starry sky for billions of miles flickered, not because the stars themselves were shining, but because the lines of laws covering the starry sky were glowing. They were calling, extremely excited, as if welcoming the return of a king. The starry sky for billions of miles became colorful, filled with various lights, beautiful and enchanting. Each color represented a law. Countless colors represented countless laws. At this moment, Lin Moyu knew the name of the gem. Elemental gem. A great object containing almost all laws. The Calamity Scepter has 5 gems, and this one is the elemental gem. Lin Moyu felt the power of the elemental gem and solemnly placed it on the Calamity Scepter. It quickly merged into the Calamity Scepter, coming to rest next to the soul gem. It connected tightly with the soul gem, as if they were one entity. Lin Moyu contemplated the information transmitted by the elemental gem, pondering its function, and muttered to himself. The elemental gem is the boundary of all elemental laws. It can enhance all elemental laws and can also be used to comprehend various elemental laws. Only physical laws and some special laws are not affected by it. Even if I don't understand elemental laws, I can use it to manipulate various elements. It can't be used to cast spells, but if used to draw runes, it will greatly increase the power of the runes. He looked at the Calamity Scepter. What level of existence are you? With just 2 gems, you already surpass most treasures. Lin Moyu felt that even the treasures used by the supreme beings in ancient times were not as good as the Calamity Scepter. It should be said that there was no comparison between the two, the difference was too great. Light flowed on the Calamity Scepter, eventually returning to calmness. It once again became unremarkable in appearance, neither gorgeous nor exquisite, and even had some flaws. At a glance, it looked ordinary, not even worthy of being called a treasure. Lin Moyu knew that the Calamity Scepter had not yet been fully repaired. Of the 5 core gems, 3 were still missing. Only when all 5 core gems were found and reintegrated would the Calamity Scepter truly be able to exert its power. The soul gem, the elemental gem, what will the other 3 gems be? I guess one of them should be a physical gem. Since there's an elemental gem, there should also be one for physical laws. Lin Moyu speculated in his heart as he put the Calamity Scepter away again. The star had already shattered, and he was once again in outer space. The millions of miles of starry sky no longer glowed, beginning to return to calmness. Before long, the outer space became pitch black and deep once more. Lin Moyu was in an extremely good mood at this moment. This accidental drift into outer space not only allowed him to see the red star and obtain the soul-slaying sword and the soul sword sect's legacy, but also acquire the elemental gem. This time was a blessing, not a misfortune. It was worth it. He stepped out again, resuming his journey home. Suddenly, he frowned. The skeleton general he had placed in space for positioning had disappeared. It wasn't killed, but had vanished. He couldn't sense the skeleton general, but its seat hadn't become vacant. Lin Moyu quickened his pace, wanting to know what had happened. This situation had occurred before. One possibility was being too far away, the second was that both parties had entered different worlds. Just as Lin Moyu was speeding back, the skeleton general's seat suddenly became vacant. It had died. That skeleton general had been killed. Because he couldn't sense it, undying spirit wouldn't take effect, and the skeleton general had no chance to revive. Dead meant truly dead. Lin Moyu raised his eyebrows. He hadn't sensed any resistance from the skeleton general throughout. Everything happened very abruptly. Soon after, Lin Moyu returned to where the skeleton general had disappeared. Without positioning, his return location wasn't very accurate, but it was close enough. The difference wouldn't exceed 100,000 kilometers. 100,000 kilometers in space was a very short distance. For a divine lord, it was just half a second's distance. For him, it was merely the distance of slightly moving his foot. The space was peaceful, seemingly empty. Alternating between undead vision and soul eye, he still found nothing. What exactly happened? Lin Moyu thought to himself, but his gaze didn't stop searching. The space remained pitch black and calm, nothing could be seen. A thought occurred to him, and a large number of skeleton generals appeared, flying out in all directions. The skeleton generals emitted a pure white light, illuminating the limited space, bringing a touch of brightness. Alternating between undead vision and soul eye, Lin Moyu observed this area of space. Everything has a root cause. Lin Moyu never believed that anything happened without a reason. As long as he could find the source, he could solve it. Suddenly, several more skeleton generals disappeared. These skeleton generals were moving side by side, with a distance of no more than 1,000 meters between them, and they disappeared simultaneously. It's here. Lin Moyu's gaze moved. At the moment the skeleton generals disappeared, he saw a trace of soul flame. The soul flame was very weak, but it was still captured. After about half a minute, those disappeared skeleton generals all died at the same time. It was exactly the same as the previous situation, dying silently. The whole process was strange. A mere trace of weak soul flame wasn't enough to determine the specific situation. Lin Moyu decided to try again. Another batch of skeleton generals flew over, passing through the place where they had previously disappeared, but they were unharmed and didn't vanish. Lin Moyu ordered them to fly back and forth, and there was still no problem. There must be a problem. Lin Moyu thought to himself, if it happened once, it could happen twice. After another 5 minutes, these skeleton generals disappeared again, very abruptly, without any prelude. Fortunately, Lin Moyu hadn't given up and had been observing all along. This time, he discovered a clue. It was still that faint trace of soul flame, but besides the soul flame, Lin Moyu also saw a tiny fluctuation in space. It was as if space had suddenly been pulled open into a crack, and then this crack was quickly pulled shut, the whole process not exceeding 0.1 seconds. It was within this 0.1 seconds that the skeleton generals on the crack disappeared. With this additional piece of information, Lin Moyu quickly analyzed. There's a soul flame, which means there's a living being in there. But the soul flame is very weak, which means this being isn't very powerful, or maybe I just didn't see it clearly, only seeing a part of it. The appearance of a space crack indicates that this being can manipulate space. A being that can manipulate space, is it some kind of cosmic beast? Besides the cosmic tree, what other cosmic beasts can manipulate space? This kind of cosmic beast should be very rare. Its soul seems weak, but how did it easily kill the skeleton generals? The skeleton generals had the golden armor talisman for protection and weren't easy to kill, creating an obvious contradiction. Just as Lin Moyu was pondering, the skeleton generals died again, their seats becoming vacant. The time from disappearance to death was exactly half a minute, not a second more, not a second less. This meant that the damage the skeleton generals suffered inside was very stable. Lin Moyu's knowledge base didn't have information about this kind of cosmic beast, and he didn't know its true situation. He sent out skeleton generals again, intending to continue investigating. In fact, Lin Moyu was very clear that for safety, he should leave immediately and not get entangled. But the other party's ability to manipulate space firmly attracted him. In fact, many cosmic beasts are excellent cultivation materials. Those cosmic beasts born with certain laws often leave corresponding crystals after death, through which one can comprehend the laws. Like the cosmic tree, it was a hunting target for cultivators of many races, but unfortunately, it was too strong, and its space laws gave it extremely strong survival abilities, so various races had always been unable to hunt it down. Now that there was a cosmic beast that might have mastered space laws before his eyes, how could he not be tempted? Lin Moyu repeatedly conducted experiments, gaining more and more information. This creature, suspected to be a cosmic beast, would open a spatial rift every 5 minutes. This timing was very fixed, with an error not exceeding 5 seconds. The existence of an error was a good thing, as it further proved that the other party was a living being. Moreover, several times, Lin Moyu deliberately shifted the skeleton generals in different directions, but the other party could always accurately find their positions. This indicated that it had sufficient observation of outer space. Once the skeleton generals were swallowed, contact with them would be lost, indicating that the other party's mouth was in another layer of space, completely isolated from the real world. After being swallowed, the skeleton generals would die in 35 seconds. This time was basically fixed, with a difference not exceeding 3 seconds. In other words, the attack suffered by the skeleton generals was the same, regardless of their number. During the experiments, Lin Moyu summoned a new skeleton general without incorporating the golden armor talisman. As a result, that skeleton general only lasted 5 seconds after being swallowed. With or without the golden armor talisman, there was a difference of about 30 seconds. Lin Moyu roughly calculated the other party's attack power, which should be around Divine Lord 9th stage. This level of attack power didn't pose much threat to him. During this time, Lin Moyu also used the Bone Hell, trying to lock onto the other party from a distance. But the Bone Hell didn't work, as the other party only opened spatial rifts and didn't attack. So the Bone Hell couldn't lock onto it. After more than a dozen trials, Lin Moyu decided to go in himself. He was skilled and daring, confident in his own strength. Under these circumstances, he wouldn't be content if he didn't go in. Lin Moyu came to the place where the skeleton generals disappeared and waited quietly. Time passed second by second, and when it reached the 5th minute, Lin Moyu felt a faint spatial fluctuation. The spatial fluctuation wasn't strong, and it was controlled very cleverly, concentrated in only a section of space. If one moved just a bit farther away, it couldn't be felt. Just this spatial control ability alone made Lin Moyu admire it. A spatial rift appeared under his feet, and he was instantly enveloped by another layer of space. The whole process was quick and gentle, without any aggression. By the time he reacted, Lin Moyu had already disappeared from normal space. Lin Moyu's vision flickered, and he found himself in another space. Under the undead vision, he could see a soul flame burning. The soul flame wasn't strong, at Divine Lord 9th stage, not reaching the other shore. Lin Moyu's heart settled. It was slightly stronger than what he had observed outside, but as long as it hadn't reached the other shore, it wasn't much of a threat. An energy storm erupted in the space, countless cracks appeared, and spatial blades flew out from the cracks, densely hitting him, as if trying to dismember him. At the same time, a binding force acted on his body, preventing him from dodging or escaping. The spatial blades weren't strong, equivalent to a Divine Lord 9th stage attack, not much different from his previous judgment. Lin Moyu's body flickered with purple golden light, resisting the spatial blades. The Divine Lord 9th stage attack wasn't strong or weak. The purple golden body couldn't last too long, but with damage transfer in place, it could allow Lin Moyu to persist for a very long time. Unfortunately, spatial attacks belonged neither to elemental nor physical categories, so the 2 passive resistance spells couldn't reduce the damage. It still needed the Legion ruler to heal, to keep Lin Moyu in a safe state for a long time. Lin Moyu surveyed this space. It was a seemingly desolate space, with nothing special except for the soul flame in the sky. Lin Moyu slightly exerted himself, and the spatial laws belonging to him flowed on his body, breaking free from the spatial binding. The best way to deal with spatial laws was with spatial laws. Lin Moyu stepped onto this space, striding forward in the space. The soul flame in the sky shook violently. It seemed very surprised by Lin Moyu's performance, not understanding why Lin Moyu could break free from the spatial binding. In fact, this spatial binding was enough to bind a peak Divine Lord. It would even affect those at the other shore realm, at least making it difficult for them to move freely here. But Lin Moyu was different. He could wield some spatial laws himself. Although still shallow, it was enough to resist this binding force. Although he had broken free from the binding, the spatial blades still continuously hit his body, causing constant damage. After 10 seconds, the purple golden body shattered with a bang, and the spatial blades began to hit him directly. But all attacks disappeared like a stone dropped into the sea. Lin Moyu was like a bottomless pit, continuously absorbing the damage. All the undead legions were sharing the damage for Lin Moyu. Before they all died, Lin Moyu wouldn't be hurt at all. Lin Moyu strode forward in this space. This space was different from the outside world. He couldn't take a step of 1,000,000 miles here. He could only measure it step by step. Fortunately, this space wasn't large, it wouldn't take long to walk through it all. Feeling the aura of this space, vaguely, Lin Moyu had a guess. After a minute, suddenly a repulsive force emerged. This repulsive force clearly wanted to expel him. That feeling was like eating something indigestible and wanting to vomit it out. Lin Moyu was the indigestible thing. He used spatial laws to resist the repulsive force, while smiling and saying, "It's easy to invite a god but hard to send one away. Wanting me to leave isn't so simple. You've killed so many of my skeleton generals, you need to pay a price." The soul flame in the sky clearly became anxious, jumping more violently. The repulsive force and spatial storm both intensified, but they were still useless against Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu was like a nail, stuck here, neither able to be driven away nor digested. And before long, he would be able to make it bleed. Lin Moyu's perception of this space became clearer and clearer, until he saw something like a stone tablet, which completely confirmed his guess. Rule Steel. This is indeed a world of rules left by a holy venerable or supreme being. And this powerful being had dabbled in spatial laws. In ancient times, there were humans who had comprehended spatial laws, and not just one. These powerful beings might not have had spatial laws as their main laws, but they all dabbled in spatial laws, much stronger than in the current era. Those supreme beings or holy venerables incorporated spatial laws into their worlds of rules. They died on the battlefield, and their worlds of rules shattered. After countless years, the world of rules itself gave birth to intelligence. Coincidentally, this broken world of rules was the one that had incorporated spatial laws. After gaining intelligence, the world of rules went through a series of evolutions, eventually becoming an existence like a cosmic beast. The rule stele was the best proof. There were many rule steles in the world of rules. Rule steles often recorded the laws and rules comprehended by their owners. In ancient times, there were also powerful beings who let their disciples and descendants enter the world of rules to comprehend from the rule steles. Unfortunately, this world of rules was already broken. Although it had spatial laws, even after gaining intelligence, it still wasn't very strong, slightly weaker than a peak divine lord. Lin Moyu found the rule stele, and the soul flame in the sky became even more agitated. Lin Moyu ignored it, feeling the rule stele. There were some comprehensions of spatial laws in the stele. Good. As the word, good, came out, joy appeared in Lin Moyu's eyes. These spatial laws were very useful to him. At this moment, the entire space began to shake violently. The space was filled with numerous cracks, and behind the cracks were massive space storms. Lin Moyu sensed the aura from deep space, as if another space riot was brewing. This thing is going to self-destruct. What kind of temper is this? I didn't even do anything to you, why self-destruct so easily? Lin Moyu indeed had no intention of doing anything to it. This was a world of rules left by an ancient supreme or holy venerable, essentially the remains of a human ancestor. Lin Moyu didn't want to do anything to the remains of a human ancestor. He just wanted to comprehend the remaining spatial laws through the rule stele. Then he would leave, and he wouldn't even hold a grudge for the skeleton generals it had swallowed. The other party's reaction surprised Lin Moyu. It was so intense. It was born from the world of rules, and Lin Moyu couldn't help but wonder if the owner of the world of rules, the ancient powerhouse, had a similarly fiery temper. Self-destructing at the slightest disagreement, definitely a big shot. Lin Moyu even suspected that the ancient powerhouse might have died from self-destruction. Sigh. With a light sigh, Lin Moyu had no choice but to take action. He didn't want to experience another space riot. This time he was lucky, but who knows where he would be swept to next time. If he ended up deep in outer space with no one to guide him, he might get completely lost. Sorry. He silently apologized in his heart, and the soul-slaying sword appeared above his head. Soul power surged, and the soul-slaying sword pierced into the soul flame like light. Lin Moyu heard a wail, and the violent shaking stopped instantly. The soul flame was still burning, but much weaker than before. Lin Moyu didn't kill it. It was too precious to kill a newly born intelligence. As long as it stayed quiet and didn't self-destruct again, Lin Moyu didn't mind letting it go. It did quiet down a lot, but only for less than 10 seconds. The already weak soul flame started burning fiercely again, and the space began to shake violently once more. Moreover, it seemed even more chaotic than before, with countless cracks appearing and deep space turbulence pouring in madly. Lin Moyu knew he couldn't be soft-hearted anymore. He pointed his finger, and a red light flashed. White star-level spell, Time Curse. The time curse erupted, and the soul wailed continuously, interrupting the self-destruction. Then the soul-slaying sword struck again, this time with even greater power and more astonishing destructive force. The wailing of the soul grew more intense, filled with screams. Lin Moyu continuously injected soul power, and the soul-slaying sword slashed out repeatedly, its attacks extremely fierce. Unlike the soul arrow, which was a single shot, the soul-slaying sword's attack continued as long as the soul power was unbroken. The wailing gradually weakened, but Lin Moyu felt the anger within the soul flame growing stronger. The world of rules was still shaking. It was clear that if given a chance to recover, it would continue to self-destruct. Seeing this, Lin Moyu had no choice but to truly deliver the killing blow. If possible, Lin Moyu really wanted to let it go, but it didn't appreciate it. Such a temper, Lin Moyu was also helpless. Finally, under the onslaught of the soul-slaying sword, the soul flame was completely extinguished. The world of rules also quieted down, and Lin Moyu could feel the vitality within the world of rules rapidly disappearing. This broken world of rules once again became a lifeless world. If left alone, perhaps many years later, a new intelligence could be born here, or maybe it would never be born again. What was done was done. Lin Moyu was not a hesitant person. Since he had already taken action, he wouldn't regret it. He refocused his attention on the rule stele, beginning to comprehend the remaining spatial laws within it. The spatial laws were clearly not the life laws of this ancient powerhouse, and there wasn't much comprehension left in the rule stele. But compared to Lin Moyu, it was still much more advanced. Lin Moyu once again immersed himself in the river of knowledge, drinking deeply. After comprehending for a while, he took out the ancient gold refined by Elder Yan for him, cast the time curse, and began to comprehend the laws of time. Lin Moyu tried to ensure that the laws of time and space progressed together, but unfortunately, the spatial laws had already taken a significant lead. However, Lin Moyu did not abandon his philosophy and still took time to comprehend the laws of time. The stone from another mountain can polish jade. After comprehending a segment of spatial laws, looking back at the laws of time might yield new progress. In Lin Moyu's eyes, time and space were laws with a certain connection. Both were at the top of the first tier, with some commonalities that could be referenced. Comprehending both together might be more effective than focusing on one alone. As he continued to comprehend, time passed bit by bit. In the central temple of the divine city, 4 holy venerables gathered. Heavenly Holy Venerable, How Holy Venerable, and War Holy Venerable were listening to Symbol Holy Venerable recounting recent events. The Shu family had collected a lot of intelligence through their own means, and it was all recent information. The human race's internal investigation was nearing its end, with over 80% of the personnel having undergone the triple tests of the symbol array, the truth pill, and the Great World Oath. If they still couldn't find anything after the triple tests, it could only mean that the person was hiding too deeply, and there wasn't much they could do. At least, they could guarantee that there were no soul devourers among the high-level members of the human race at the Divine Lord level and above. In another 5 to 10 years, they would complete all the investigations. Since the soul devourer incident broke out, 20 years had passed. The human race originally planned to complete the internal investigation in about 15 years. Everything was going smoothly until Lin Moyu disappeared, and the Death Dragon Knights lost their mobility simultaneously. They couldn't sense Lin Moyu and went into hibernation, remaining motionless. Unless someone attacked them, they would instinctively counterattack, and once they did, it would be a fight to the death. This situation slowed down the original plan. Now it seemed that the human race would need 25 to 30 years to complete the investigation. This also showed Lin Moyu's importance. However, because of the existence of the Death Dragon Knights, the Holy Venerables could be sure that Lin Moyu was not dead, he was still alive. They speculated that Lin Moyu might have drifted into outer space and would return someday. Many things had happened over the years. First, the 3 Silver race was now in a miserable state. Various races confirmed the information released by the human race. The 3 Silver race had no Holy Venerable, the few remaining other shore beings were severely injured, and most of the Divine Lords were dead. So, the small races began to attack openly instead of cautiously probing. Without high-end combat power, the 3 Silver race was completely defeated and quickly collapsed. A large number of star regions were occupied, and countless members of the race were killed. The 3 Silver race began a great escape, with the remaining strong members leading the people in fleeing. Fearing future retaliation from the 3 Silver race, the small races pursued them ruthlessly, vowing to exterminate them. Especially the small races that had been oppressed and bullied by the 3 Silver race, they were particularly fierce this time. A few years after the small races took action, several large races also began to move in to divide the territory. Their actions were even more ruthless, killing many fleeing members of the 3 Silver race, signaling the end of the 3 Silver race on the stage of the Great World. Besides the three silver race, the small races that occupied their territory announced an alliance, advancing and retreating together to firmly hold these star regions. They planned to slowly develop using the resources in the star regions. Additionally, some other significant events occurred. The demon race and the golden eagle race announced an alliance. The turmoil in the great world had nothing to do with Lin Moyu. He had stayed in the broken world of rules for a full 5 years. 5 years of time allowed him to gain a new understanding of spatial laws. He felt he was close to truly entering the door, and even the laws of time finally showed some movement. Previously, he had touched upon some superficial aspects of spatial laws, while for the laws of time, he had only touched the very tip of the surface. Now, spatial laws were beginning to move from the surface to truly touching the flesh. The laws of time also progressed accordingly, starting to touch a bit of the surface. There was still a big difference in the progress of the two laws, with spatial laws being far ahead. At the same time, Lin Moyu also found that his idea was indeed correct. As his understanding of spatial laws deepened, it did help with the laws of time. Lin Moyu sat in front of the rule steel for a full 5 years, his aura constantly fluctuating. Each fluctuation would cause the surrounding space to vibrate, creating layers of waves. His control over space became higher and higher, and also more natural. In the soul world, Lin Moyu's soul was also vibrating with the spatial waves. The space where the soul world was located was too mysterious, boundless and endless. But it still had spatial concepts and could sense the existence of space. Finally, Lin Moyu comprehended all the contents in the rule steel. The soul world suddenly shook, and the soul opened its eyes, with the Law Star River appearing. The undying Law Star River was like great rivers, rolling in from unknown void space, flowing towards unknown places. But at this moment, a new Law Star River appeared beside the undying Law Star River. The Law Star River had a dreamy and hazy color, appearing semi-transparent. On the surface it looked calm, forming a sharp contrast with the undying law. But Lin Moyu could clearly feel that its interior was turbulent, with surging waves. Spatial Law Star River. The soul uttered a clear voice, with a hint of excitement in the voice. The appearance of the spatial Law Star River meant that his spatial laws had truly entered the door. Beside the wide spatial Law Star River, there was also a small tributary, which was the spatial law he currently mastered. Proportionally, his mastery of spatial laws was about 10%. Beside the spatial Law Star River, apart from his own small tributary, Lin Moyu also saw several tributaries. These tributaries varied in thickness and length. Each tributary represented a cultivator of spatial laws. There are quite a few people in the great world who have comprehended spatial laws. The number of tributaries was not small, just the part that was revealed had over 10 tributaries. The part that was not revealed should have over 20 tributaries. In other words, in the great world, at least 20 people had comprehended spatial laws. Lin Moyu thought briefly, roughly guessing that most of these tributaries belonged to the star space fish people. Unconsciously, he thought of Yu Qingro. I wonder which tributary belongs to Yu Qingro. He had heard others say before that when divine lords swim in the Law Star River, they sometimes encounter other divine lords. Although the Law Star River was extremely vast, with many people, there would occasionally be encounters. The more people cultivating the same law, the higher the possibility of encounters. In the Law Star River, everyone exists in soul form. Even if they meet, they cannot communicate, let alone know who is who. So even if they meet in the Law Star River, it generally won't lead to conflicts. However, this is not absolute. There are treasures in the Law Star River, as well as some precious materials. Sometimes, both parties might fight over these. Battles between souls are very dangerous, easily leading to severe soul injuries or even complete destruction. So the Law Star River is not an absolutely safe place. Lin Moyu recalled all the information about the Law Star River, and had a grasp in his heart. Only he cultivated the undying law, so he didn't need to consider encountering others. Spatial laws were not exclusively his, so he still needed to consider this point. Lin Moyu opened his eyes, officially ending this cultivation session. He communicated with the rule steel through his consciousness, and a rift appeared in the sky. He bowed to the rule steel. Thank you, Senior. Junior is leaving. Although he didn't know the senior's name, he had benefited from him after all, so Lin Moyu was grateful. After saying this, he returned to the real starry sky through the rift. After 5 years apart, feeling the loneliness in the starry sky again, Lin Moyu also felt somewhat eager to return home. He sensed the direction and found that he had flown quite a distance. This broken world of rules had been wandering in the starry sky, and it was the same during the 5 years of comprehending the laws. It had no purpose, no direction. Like a lonely sail in the sea, drifting with the waves. In 5 years, the world of rules had flown about 1 light year, which wasn't too far. Through sensing the skeleton general, Lin Moyu determined the direction, took a step, and instantly disappeared. Millions of kilometers away, Lin Moyu's figure reappeared. 5 years of cultivation allowed him to cross millions of kilometers with each step, several times faster than before. Fast speed is just one manifestation of spatial laws. Besides this, there were many other gains. For Lin Moyu, 5 years of time was very worthwhile. The star region that originally belonged to the Buddha race now belongs to the star space fish people. After years of transformation, the star region has changed its appearance, becoming what the star space fish people like most. In their central star region, there is a star system shaped like a big fish. The star space fish people call it the Fish People Star System, which is also their main star system. The royal family of the star space fish people lives inside. From within the star system, a loud voice transmitted out, which clan member has comprehended spatial laws? No one answered. Investigate. Another command was issued, and the royal family of the star space fish people immediately took action. 2 days later, space gates opened one after another, and strong members of the star space fish people flew out from the gates. They were all strong individuals who had comprehended spatial laws, without exception, all possessing royal bloodlines. Among the star space fish people, only those with royal bloodlines had the chance to comprehend spatial laws. After 2 days of investigation, they confirmed that no one had comprehended spatial laws. However, a new tributary had appeared in the Lost Star River, which also meant that the one who comprehended spatial laws was not from the star space fish people. Yu Chimei, the current clan leader of the star space fish people in a holy venerable realm powerhouse. Her gaze was gloomy, and her voice became very suppressed. Pay close attention to the Lost Star River, watch that newly emerged tributary. Keep an eye on him. If he enters the Lost Star River in the future, join forces to kill him. Spatial laws can only belong to us. In the Fish People clan, the clan leader's words were the highest command. Once she spoke, no one dared to disobey. Even Princess Yu Qingro had to obey. The star space fish people were domineering. They did not allow anyone outside their clan to comprehend spatial laws. They wanted to maintain the unique characteristic of spatial laws, which was also the foundation of the star space fish people's establishment, and could not be shaken. Lin Moyu walked faster and faster, and the comprehensions from these years were all being put into practice. From the initial step of 1,000,000 kilometers, to later, each step could reach 20 million kilometers. Although he still hadn't reached the point of opening space gates, this speed was already very astonishing. Lin Moyu felt that his return to the domain wouldn't take too long. In the process of moving forward, he still released skeleton generals at intervals to explore in all directions. After advancing in this way for a full 30 days, a glimmer of light finally appeared in his vision.